Now, your starting lineup for Sports Sunday. Starting at anchor, a 5'4" Aries from Centerville, Virginia, and a wannabe Wisconsinite. She's a former cross-country star at James Madison University. Put your hands together for Jenn Chapman. Also starting at anchor, a 6-foot Leo from Birmingham, Alabama. He's got a degree in graphic design from ITT Technical Institute. He's a father of 3, B.J. Millican. This is Sports Sunday.
We lead things off with the bronze bomber at the Barber Motorsports Park in Leeds. Deontay Wilder was the Grand Marshal of the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, but Saturday night the WBC champ was in New York watching WBO and WBA heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko defeat Bryant Jennings. He told reporters what he gained from that experience.
I got what I was looking for, you know. The thing about it, Klitschko's he's losing the juice, I would say, you know. But I'm proud of Bryant Jennings. He did a great job. He put up a great fight. He gave all that he could give, and that was that. But, you know, now the world's looking for Klitschko and Wilder. I wanted to be the biggest and the best fight in boxing history, and we can make that happen.
Never one to shy away from a challenge, Wilder went on to say that he hopes that fight can happen sometime in 2016. With that, we say welcome in, everybody, to Sports Sunday. Deontay making a splash as usual, but there was a little business to take care of on the track.
That's right. The IndyCar guys are 2 races away from the Brickyard, but this week they were at Barber trying to gather some momentum. Elio Castroneves began the day out front, but he would end up finishing 15th. The day belonged to the youngster Joseph Newgarden. The Nashville native held off a strong late push from the veteran Scott Dixon to take the checkered flag. It's the 24-year-old's first victory on the IndyCar series. He led most of the race, and afterwards he talked about those stressful final laps.
Man, I was so ready for this race to be done. You know, leading that many laps, you get a little nervous, but I was trying to just make it a Sunday drive, you know, start working on my fuel mileage, just click the laps off like you're rolling down the road, and that's really what we did. We had great fuel mileage from the Chevy, you know, we had really good pace on the Firestones, just had everything we needed to stay calm and cool, and I was just, you know, 5 laps to go, I was just happy to get it over with, so I was trying to click those last couple laps off and just get it done with.
So just how many laps did Newgarden lead? Try 46 of 90. Pretty strong. Here's the top 5. 2 former champions at Barber finish in the top 5, with the 2-time winners Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Ray finishing 4 and 5. In 2 weeks, the guys are at Indy, and then May 24th, it's the Indianapolis 500.
That's a big one. Sprint Cup at Richmond, remembering broadcaster Steve Burns, who passed away this week. With 41 laps to go, though, it was Tony Stewart who's going to get into Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. That causes smoke to spin out a little bit. And as you may expect, smoke blows his top. Okay, I'm throwing the helmet. But Kurt Busch, he's feeling okay because he led more than half of this race, takes the checkered flag. It's his 2nd Sprint Cup win at Richmond.
We're winners in April. It feels good. Plenty of time to do fun things to build the team up, get stronger, learn from all these races coming up, and continue to go forward. Like Gene Haas said, 1 win's great. I want 4 or 5 more.
The guys are at Talladega next weekend. The Alabama baseball team they weren't looking for 4 or 5 wins like Kurt Busch was talking about. They would just take 1 today.
That's right. They were closing out the series against Ole Miss, trying to avoid a 3-game sweep in Oxford. So how's this for the first pitch of the game? Chandler Avant beamed. Give him the first base. 2 batters later, slugger Mikey White smacks this one down the right field line. It stays fair, an RBI double for the junior as Avant gets the first run of the game, and Georgie Salem advances to 3rd. Tide starting off strong. So still in the first inning, tied up 2. White still on base. Casey Hugston gets the 6th home run of the season, a 2-run blast, 4-run first inning for the Tide, and that's the kind of game the Tide would have 13 runs on 17 hits en route to a 13-4 win.
That's a tricky name. It's Casey Houston.
Oh, my bad.
You nailed all the other ones. You nailed Elio.
That's all that matters. So the Tide avoid the sweep by Ole Miss. 8 out of 9 starters recording at least 1 hit, an RBI, and a run scored. Next up, home on Tuesday against Southern Mississippi.
I didn't want to mess Casey up. I didn't want him to be mad.
We got you, Casey.
The Tide softball team closed out their home schedule on Saturday. They did it in style. A 10-3 win over Tennessee to claim the series. series. A big reason for that offensive outburst was Marissa Home Runyon. I love the nickname. 2 bombs, 7 RBIs in the series for her. Coach Murphy, hey, he also likes her.
There's no roller coaster with her, though. That's why she's such a good hitter. She's very consistent. And you wouldn't know if she was 4 for 4 or 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. You don't see it on her face. You don't see it in her body language. That's why I love her so much. She's just very, very consistent and doesn't let anything rattle her.
Yeah, I guess I'm just seeing the ball big, looking for a good pitch to hit. And I know first game we played against them, I didn't have a great day at the plate, so I wanted to respond and respect them and hit the ball well.
And that she did. So Alabama's going to be off until Friday when they travel to Arkansas for the final regular season series. That's against the Razorbacks. Then the SEC tournament starts May 6th in Baton Rouge. Still much more to come on Sports Sunday, including a catch you cannot miss.
And when we come back, something else you can't miss. I got to go 2-on-1 with a couple of legendary football coaches. You may have heard of them. They both have statues right outside our office. Nick Saban and Gene Stallings. The entire interview is coming up after the break.
We should go interview the statues.
They'll be talkative. Hey, we're back on Sports Sunday. Nick Saban will team up with Saints running back Mark Ingram for the 2nd year in a row in the ChickfilA Challenge in Atlanta tomorrow. The charity tournament is in its 9th year. The winner receives $125,000 for their school scholarship fund. Come on, boys. 13 schools from around the country are taking part. Saban and Ingram will play with Urban Meyer and Jeff Logan from Ohio State. So tournament play concludes on Tuesday. Certainly an interesting pairing for Coach Saban.
Ohio State, it is a very interesting pairing. I would love to be able to hear some of the chatter.
Those two are friends. Remember, they both said that before.
Oh, yeah, they're buddies. They're buddies.
Friends.
They're not competitive at all either. Another interesting pairing was out at the Rise Golf Tournament this week. Coach Saban, Coach Stallings, and, of course, Jenn Chapman. It's this week's edition of 101, 2-on-1 tonight with Jen.
Coach Saban, a great tournament out here today. What kind of influence has Coach Stallings had on you? I know he's right here, but you got to answer this question.
Well, you know, I think I have a tremendous amount of respect for guys like Coach Stallings who have done so much for the game and so much for the community and the people in the community. And this event for Rise is fantastic, and we always really enjoy being a part of it.
And you've really followed in his footsteps. I mean, I know you've had the success on the field, but Nick's kids here in Tuscaloosa, I know it was a program before Tuscaloosa, but it's blown up in Tuscaloosa as well. Can you talk a little bit about Nick's kids?
Well, you know, we just like to create opportunities for young people, and you know, Rise is always one of the things that we really like to support. And you know, Terry's done a fantastic job, and you know, all over the state trying to help people. So, you know, we're just happy to give back to the community.
Well, I was going to ask about Miss Terry next, but you brought it up with the women behind you, Miss Ruth Ann and Miss Terry. What is it like to have those women supporting both of you?
Well, you think they support us?
They support us when we win, honey.
That's right.
Every once in a while we don't get that support we need.
That's right. Well, you know, I support Miss Terry, because she's been a great partner and she's been very, very helpful here in our success here. But I think we have a great team here, and a lot of people contribute to it, but she's done a lot of things for a lot of people here.
And Coach Stallings, what is it like to see Coach Saban come in, do similar things that you did, but also in the community?
Well, it's a pure joy for me. I mean, you know, he's in great demand. He could be a jillion places today, but he's here helping out, and I just really appreciate him, and I appreciate what he's done in the fall. So what a great job his teams do. They're extremely well coached, and they play for the national championship every year. Not many people do that.
And do you have any advice for him before we take off?
Yeah, just keep doing what he's been doing. I mean, we appreciate it. We want him in that championship game in the SEC, and then we want him in the national championship game. So far, he's been able to do that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those guys were a lot of fun. You have some comments.
I do have comments. I was just going to ask you, you know, Coach Saban, he always likes to downplay his golf game, but
from what I saw, he was actually pretty good. And maybe that was just the rest of the group he was shooting with.
A bunch of amateurs rolling through
but
there.
I thought he did pretty well, way better than I could. So
there you go. I've swung a golf club like 3 times in my life. When we come back, no more golf, but we will show you our favorite things for this week. You're going to want to see it. It's a great story. Stay with us. You know, sometimes you have to go the extra mile, but you don't need to tell that to Alex Gordon of the Kansas City Royals. Watch what he does. He's going to go into the stands. Ouch! Catching the foul ball, barreling over that White Sox fan in the process. That's what he gets for being a White Sox fan. What a catch! Ooh. Gordon was okay. The White Sox fan is still a White Sox fan, so maybe he's not okay, or at least is not okay.
Shots fired. All right, tell us how you really feel.
Go Cubs, go. That's how I really feel. As always on Sunday night, we do like to leave you with something positive to close the week. We call it Our Favorite Things.
And this Tuesday, I had the chance to share Alabama softball fan Beth Anderson's favorite thing with our viewers. For some, today was just another Tuesday. For Beth Anderson, today was a dream come true. Beth has a rare neurogenetic disorder called Angelman syndrome. And since the age of 3, Beth has been a Special Olympics athlete competing in the softball toss. This past fall, the 36-year-old was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, and the idea came for a bucket list. Making the top of that list for this lifelong Alabama fan, to throw out the first pitch at an Alabama softball game.
Someone messaged me today and said, this is what she's worked for 33 years, and you, as a fan and as a competitor, and I thought, you know, that really sort of sums it up.
Tonight, Beth was a celebrity. First, warming up with the team. Receiving an autographed poster. Taking pictures. And then, with all eyes at Rhodes Stadium on Beth, she drew the crowd to their feet.
She has about 20 or 25 words in her vocabulary, and Roll Tide would have been some of the first words.
Roll Tide. Tonight will be a Tuesday the Andersons will never forget. Roll Tide, Miss Beth.
Excellent job on that story.
I teared up before I even got to interview her mom and talk to them. Just watching how happy she was meeting the players was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Excellent
job. And that's what sports
really
are about.
Yeah, put stuff in perspective. Definitely.
It does, yeah.
Before we go, we do want to say the Casey Hugston line. We do have a good use for that name.
So we're giving him a hug because he scored a home run. So that's why I said Hugston, right?
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly.
Got a reason for everything.
Good night, everybody. Have a good week.